Hey lovelies, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chisom. If you are new here, you're very much welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for tuning in. On today's tutorial, I'm going to be sharing with you on how I made this crop shirt with notched collar. If this is something you would like to see, please keep on watching and let's get right into the video. So I'll be drafting the back pattern first. I already folded my pattern paper and I've marked my shoulder line. So placing the tape on my shoulder line, I went down by 11 inches, which is my bust line. And then still placing the tape on my shoulder line, I'm going to mark the length of my crop shirt. And then I'll connect this into a straight line. And then go ahead to label them. And then I'm going to mark my neck width, which is 3 inches, and then I'll go down by 1.5 inches for the neck depth, and then I'll connect that with my curved ruler. On my shoulder line, I'm going to mark my shoulder width, but I didn't mark my exact shoulder width. I added extra 2 inches because I want this to be a free shirt. And then I went down by 1 inch to create my shoulder slants. And from that shoulder slant, I went down by half of my armhole. And this is going to be my chest line. To get your chest line, you are going to divide your bust circumference by 6. Whatever you get, you add 1.5, and that is going to be your chest line. And then from my shoulder slant, I'll connect that line to the chest line, and that is going to be my armhole. So on my bust line, I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 4, add 1 inch for ease, and then I'm going to connect that to my armhole in that manner as you can see in the video. So whatever I have on my chest line, I'm going to take it down to the hem line, and then I'm going to connect it like so. And that is it for our back pattern. I'm going to add 0.5 inch on the shoulder line. This is going to be for joining the shoulders. And then I'll go ahead to label this as the back pattern. Living life every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Fuck me, I'm looking in the mirror, so foggy, but I've never seen clearer. I don't really think anyone can save me, and honestly, I'm not really sure I want saving. I like to be my own worst enemy. There's no risk if you don't try at anything, so I'ma just keep buying everything. See you in the next life. So for the front pattern, you are going to be needing a more longer and larger pattern paper, but because I didn't have that, my pattern paper is too small for that. So what I basically did here was just to draft the collar. So that is what I'm doing here. So from the shoulder line, I went down by 6 inches, and from the side I came in by 5 inches, and that is what I am connecting right now. I came down by 6 inches, and from the side I came in by 5 inches. I hope you understand that. And that is exactly what I am cutting now. So like I was explaining, this is mainly for the collar, as this pattern is small. If you're making yours, be sure to use a bigger pattern so that you can go ahead to mark out your other basic bodice measurements. So what I'm doing here is I'm marking the neckline. I'm marking the neck width. I use 3 inches just like I did for the back pattern. So I marked 3 inches for the neck width, and for the depth I also marked 3 inches. This is going to be for the front pattern, remember. And then I'm going to go ahead to connect this with my curve ruler. And then I'm going to go ahead to mark my shoulder width. I'm using this back pattern to trace this out. Remember, my pattern paper is not enough, so I'm just making sure that at least the shoulder and the neckline is the same with the back pattern. So I'm marking my shoulder slant, as you can see. I'll also go ahead to mark my chest line. If you are using a bigger pattern paper, go ahead to mark your shoulder slant, mark your chest line, mark your bust line, and then the length of your shirt. That's the hemline, just like we did for the back. Just make sure to leave enough space like we did here. So I am going to come out from that chest line. I'm going to come out by 1 inch. This is going to be for the button flap, and I'm then going to go ahead to connect this into a straight line. I'm also going to extend the neckline to the line that I've drawn out for the bottom flap. I'll also do that at so what the next thing I'm going to do is to, in a slanty form, I'm going to connect a straight line from the shoulder to the chest line. Just like you see me doing. So I'm going to go ahead and measure the neckline for the back. I'm going to place my tape like so, and then I'll measure what I have on the neckline for the back. So as you can see, what I have is 4.1. So I'm going to go ahead on that shoulder and then place that 4.1 there. I'll go by 4.1 as I have measured on the back neckline, and I'm then going to go ahead and connect it into a straight line. But as you can see, I'm not connecting it into a straight line. It's actually a bit slanty. So after doing that, I'm still going to go on the right, on that line that I have drawn out already. I'm going to go out by 1/4 of an inch. I'm going to go out by 1/4 of an inch and then slant it further. So I'm going to connect that new point to the shoulder. And then I'm going to asterisk the other line. I'm going to, while cutting out, I'm not going to be cutting out on that line. So from there, I'm going to mark the length of my collar. So this is going to be as you desire, but the one I usually use is 3.5, which is also perfect. So you can go in by 3.5 like I do, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect that to my front neckline. Sorry, first of all, I'm going to draw this line also in a slanty form like you see me doing. This is going to make the collar to come out beautifully well. And then I'm going to connect that to my neckline in a curvy manner. If you have your curve ruler, you can use that. So but before then, sorry, on my neckline I came up by 0.5 inches, and then I came up by 0.5 inches. Then I'm going to draw out a line from that edge to connect it to the 0.5 inches that I've marked, and from there I'm going to connect that to the this part of the collar. And that is it for our collar. If you have your curved rule, you can just do it. I just used freehand to draw mine out, and this is going to be our front pattern. So I'm going to cut out the collar first before going ahead to cut every other part of the bodice. Just follow me the way you see me doing it, the way you see me cutting it out.
Living life every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Fuck me, I'm looking in the mirror, so foggy, but I've never seen clearer. I don't really think anyone can save me, and honestly, I'm not really.
So we have two pieces of the collar here for the pattern. While cutting the fabric, I'm going to put my fabric on fold. I will just use one piece of the collar to cut that out. So I'm going to go ahead to cut the other part of my bodice.
Living life every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Fuck me, I'm looking in the mirror, so foggy, but I've never seen clearer. I don't really think anyone can save me, and honestly, I'm not really sure I want saving. I like to be my own worst
Also, the
enemy.
front bodice is in two pieces, so I just had to take out one pattern. So this is how your notch collar is going to come out. One end is going to be folded like this. So I've gone ahead to use the back pattern to place on my fabric to cut out my fabric. And remember, my front pattern is not that wide, so I use the back pattern as a guide while cutting my front pattern. So if you're making yours, please be sure that you have enough pattern. Don't be like me. You have enough pattern so that your front pattern can be complete just like the back pattern. So I added extra 1 inch by the side for the sewing allowance, and then at the hemline I also added 1.5 inches for the hemming allowance. So I'm just going ahead to cut out my fabric, as you can see. So the back pattern was cut on a fold, and then the front pattern, like you can see, it's not on fold, it has two pieces.
See here, I should celebrate. Think I could change my mind, maybe elevate. Living life every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Yeah, all I need are some better days. Cause all I want, and I pray, I believe in the better days. I'm kinda stuck between a rock and a hard place.
So, and that is it for the front and the back pattern. The next is to cut the collar, and as you can see, it's also unfold. And while cutting it out, I added extra 0.5 inches on all sides. This is going to be for joining the collar. This is going to be extra allowance to join the collar. So right here, what I want to do is to cut the lining for the button flap. This is just going to be a small piece of fabric. So this is how you're going to do, just as you see me doing. So to determine where this button flap is going to end, I'm just going to place my collar like this, just to determine where the button flap lining is going to stop. So guys, that is it for the pattern drafting and cutting of this notched collar crop shirt. I'll be posting a tutorial on how to join this. So thank you for watching to this moment. I hope to see you on my next video. Thank you. Bye for now.
Living life every day,